It is 25 years in the future. Environmental abuse and the burning of fossil fuels have effectively doubled atmospheric CO2 levels, creating a greenhouse effect of strength unknown in historical times. Global temperature rises have caused accelerated melting of the Earth's glaciers and polar ice caps. Preventative measures against massive flooding have been unrealistic and poorly constructed. New York City is typical of cities all over the world. That part which is not completely submerged is a network of festering, stagnant pools percolating in the blistering heat and humid air. Day by day, the sound of buzzing flies has become more and more pronounced. We are in a middle-class apartment in a middle-class apartment building. The decor is shopping mall modern. The White family is sitting around a shiny Formica dining room table eating dinner. Joe White, 43 years old with a paunch, sits at the head of the table and talks loudly with his mouth full. Paula White, Joe's wife, serves canned spaghetti to the family. Cindy isn't paying attention to anything. She's got a set of headphones on and is moving her head vigorously to the music. On the other side of the table is Josh, the White's 13-year-old introverted son, the brains of the family. Josh picks at his food. He doesn't seem hungry. A TV blares in the background.
It's a studio filled with fabulous prizes.
Josh, come on, honey. Eat some spaghetti, won't you?
I'm just not hungry.
When he's a man, Paula, then he'll eat. When he's got to work for a living and find out what the real world is about, then he'll start eating like a man. Eat something, Josh!
I'm not hungry. I think I feel a little sick.
You look like a girl, you're so thin. Eat!
Oh, Joe, come on.
Josh coughs loudly several times.
Hey, would everyone shut the fuck up? I want to hear this.
Joe turns the TV up.
We switch now to Bruce Malton for a live report. Bruce?
Reporter Bruce Malton wears a suit and a pair of thigh-high rubber boots. He is standing in the middle of the full-meal diner up to his thighs in sewage-like water. The air is thick with flies. Firemen and National Guard move in and out of view in the background.
Bill, the concern down here today is these little white worms I'm holding in this glass jar. If you've ever heard the expression breeding like maggots, then you know what has the authorities holding meetings and briefing sessions around the clock. It is estimated that the maggot population is doubling every 24 hours, and they just don't know what to do about it.
Us fucking politicians and scientists, they're all a bunch of assholes. Nobody ever does anything until things are way out of control.
Josh continues to make coughing, choking, and gagging sounds.
Josh! Oh, well, honey.
Josh, will you cut the fucking shit?
Suddenly, out of Josh's mouth, about the size of a softball, we see a writhing, bloody mass.
No! It's gross!
Joe grabs a crowbar and begins bashing at the squirming ball of worms.
Maggots!
I'm not gonna be any fucking maggots in my house!
Dr. Wanda Carnot, director of the Central Research Laboratory, is on her way to a briefing session with top research scientist and theoretician Dr. Richard Boltzmann. Dr. Carnot finds Dr. Boltzmann busy looking through a microscope.
The clone protesters are starting to be a pain in my ass.
I'm afraid we have more pressing things to deal with now.
The maggots.
That's right, Dr. Carnot.
Well, Dr. Boltzmann, I hope you have some good news for us. They are reproducing at exponential rates all over the city. The worst part is, though, although this seems impossible, they seem to be increasing in size as well as numbers.
Unfortunately, Dr. Carnot, it is not impossible. These tissue samples we've been working on all night confirm my worst fears. Some years ago, before you were brought in as director, we engineered an organism from an RNA retrovirus and a ubiquitous protozoan. We called it Carnivorous robustus. It's an eating, reproducing machine. Its job was to eat all the polluted waste products out of all the polluted rivers. It prefers living tissue. But once it has eaten all the life out of the waters, it consumes the waste. The only way it stops is when it runs out of food. The theory was that once the rivers were clean, C. robustus would die, and fish and other natural organisms could be introduced back into the clean water.
Yes!
Unfortunately, the greenhouse flooding has put robustus in contact with life on the land, namely the common maggot. A new mutant maggot has been formed with Robustus as the vector for the RNA retrovirus. The maggots will grow in size with each generation, their numbers doubling every 12 hours until every living thing within reach has been consumed and exterminated.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, reporter Bruce Malton's girlfriend Valerie speaks to Bruce on the phone.
Well, I'm over at your place, Bruce, but I don't know if I can stand waiting for you to get here. Sweetheart.
I can't wait to see you either.
I'm so horny, Bruce. I can't stand it.
I'm gonna be there soon, Val, but please make sure all the windows are all shut tight. These maggots are turning up everywhere.
Don't worry, Bruce. I can take care of myself. I'm just going to slip out of my clothes, go into your bedroom, and crawl into bed, and wait until you get here.
Ciao, babe.
Ciao, Bruce.
We see that Valerie wears no bra as she pulls off her t-shirt, exposing her ample breasts. She slips out of her skin-tight jeans and her cotton panties at one time, and we can see her firm, creamy white buttocks sway from side to side as she walks towards the bedroom. What we also see, and what Valerie does not see, is that under the bed are 3 large, slimy maggots moving across the floor. These maggots are larger than any that we've seen so far. They are each the size of a large knockwurst. Joe and Paula White have taken Josh over to the local emergency medical center, where he is on the critical list. Meanwhile, Cindy White and her boyfriend Lance are alone in the Whites' apartment. Lance is trying to get it on with Cindy.
Lance, come on, put it away. That's gross.
Oh, come on, Cindy, before your father gets back.
That's what I mean, Lance. My brother may be dead. The maggots are everywhere. I don't know if I should.
Well, look at it this way, Cindy. If this is the end of civilization, then we should make the most of it, right? And if it isn't the end of civilization, then, well, it doesn't matter. So we should do it anyway.
Oh.
Cindy sees the logic in Lance's argument, and they begin to get it on the family couch. Meanwhile, Valerie is in Bruce's bedroom, fooling with the TV, finally making her selection. Valerie steps backwards a few steps towards the bed, her attention still fixed on the tube. Still looking forward, she reaches behind her and pulls down the covers. She does not see what we see. The bed is crawling with maggots. These are the large, knockwurst-sized maggots. Their bodies glisten with a mucus-like slime. Several fall out of the bed and onto the floor. Valerie continues to step backward in her bare feet. She steps directly on one of the maggots. Its bloody insides spew all over the carpet, and in a split-second reflex, Valerie jumps backwards, landing rear first onto the bed. She lands right on top of the squirming maggots. The more she tries to get up, the more she slips on the slimy, wet creatures. They are all over her body.
What's coming, baby? There. Oh. Yes.
There's someone at the door.
Yeah, and they sound pissed.
Throwing on his clothes as he goes, Lance heads for the front door. From the other side of the door, we hear the voice of Joe White.
Let me in! Open the door! Let me the fuck in!
As Lance opens the door, we see a struggling Joe White being consumed by a group of huge maggots. They are all 3 to 4 feet long and a good 6 inches in diameter. He manages to get out a few last words.
We never got to the fucking hospital. The maggots got Paula and Josh in the parking lot. You're fucking my 16-year-old daughter while I'm being eaten alive out in the fucking hall!
Well, you see,
It is too late for Lance to make excuses as Joe is being quickly consumed with apparent relish by the giant white worms. It is also too late for Lance, because just as these words leave his mouth, 2 of the huge slimy maggots pull him to the ground. As Cindy comes running around the corner, she sees the last piece of her father going in the mouth of one of the enthusiastic worms, whilst Lance, long dead, has been almost entirely consumed.
Oh my God! Oh, gross! Oh my God!
horror-stricken, we see Cindy racing around the apartment, not knowing where to go or what to do. As the giant maggots finish with Joe and Lance, they start moving rapidly into the apartment in the direction of Cindy, who makes it to her parents' bedroom and slams the door. Meanwhile, at Bruce Malton's apartment, we see the slimy, mucus-covered worms all over Valerie's writhing body. The maggots are eating her alive. Her screams give way as she loses consciousness. Our attention focuses on the report coming over the TV in the background.
And so the situation has gotten totally out of control. Tens of thousands have already left the city, and authorities are imposing a mandatory evacuation on all remaining civilians.
Cindy struggles to keep the huge, hungry maggots out of her parents' bedroom, but the sheer weight of the writhing mass is too much, and one of the panels on the door gives way, and the heads of two huge worms push their way through. Cindy breaks a china lamp against the bedside table and begins to beat and slash at the heads of the maggots poking their way through. The blood is spewing all over Cindy as she continues to slash at the oncoming worms. But just as she seems to have decapitated one, another springs up in its place. Finally, the force of the mass of maggots pushing outside the door is too much, and the whole door comes crashing inward. As the maggots come squirming forward at a rapid pace, Cindy, looking frantically around, screaming, grabs a chair and smashes out the bedroom window. She climbs through the broken glass and out onto the fire escape with the maggots in close pursuit. As she looks down the 10 flights to the street below, she sees a scene of chaos and pandemonium. The streets, sidewalks, and every inch of space is a gridlock of cars trying to escape from the city. The police and National Guard are trying to exercise control. Canisters of tear gas are being exploded everywhere. But none of this by itself compares to the ultimate horror from which, to Cindy, there now seems no escape. Feeding on the people with uncontrollable lust are giant maggots, the biggest of which are over 40 feet long with diameters as big as redwood trees. The blood spills into the streets and screams fill the air. The sun is setting in the sky. It will be nighttime soon.